How's it going, everyone? I'm the one and only Kaiju Sage. Welcome back to a new video, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Krangled passive group SSF event and kind of what the issues with it are and some like improvements that I feel like could be made in the future if they ever run this again, because I really like the idea, but I think the execution is a little bit lacking. So I want to provide some feedback. That's what I'm going to do in this video. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like. I'd really appreciate it. Continue to help the channel grow. It helps a lot. Thank you so much. Just go down there, slap the subscribe button. Let's continue pushing towards 1,000 subscribers. It's going to happen. Let's keep going. Anyway, without further ado, let's dive in and talk about what's going on with the league. So exactly what it is, and I'll just give the quick rundown of what that means. Krangled is just like a fun little term. It started in Scourge League, where items had like those negative implicits, and they could also like have a really strong positive implicit and stuff. And it was like you had like both. And so you could use that, and you could also like turn the downsides into an upside. But yeah, 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝙿 kind of coined the phrase Krangled. They used it for the Krangled gauntlet, etc. Anyway, that's the origin of that. What does it mean for this event specifically? If you didn't know what it is or didn't read anything about it, the short of it is all the passives on the passive tree are randomized. Every one of them, as far as I'm aware, is just random. It's just shaken up, spread about, and you are in a group SSF event, so you can trade with the other people in the league, but as you can see at the top of the thing there, accounts allowed in league is 6. So you can only have 6 people in a given league, and then you can only trade with those 6 people. So there's no like massive economy to like give a bulk value or availability, I should say, of regret orbs. And so you're kind of stuck, right? And that's the thing, is you are stuck with the early game. That's people's biggest problem. They like a lot of the complaints that I've seen are it really kind of sucks in the beginning. Like once you get into it a bit, it's less bad because you kind of have gotten to a point where you can start to get it to work. But my thinking is, how do you make that part of it less bad? Like pushing people away at the beginning is bad. Like people have short attention spans, and if they hate something at the beginning, they're not going to stick with it. So what do? Well, I have a couple of ideas for that. The solution for fixing the early game is have the early passives still be the same. Have it where it's like the first, like my thinking is the first like 5 to 10 passives in any given direction, up to GGG's like discretion and how they would want to handle it. The first 5 to 10 passives in any direction are the same. They're like the base tree the same. You can get some, if you're going to witch, you can get the spell damage nodes and that first cast speed node. You can get the energy shield nodes, and you can have some like start. You can take those 2 intelligence nodes off to the left and just like go out a little bit, and then from there, everything beyond those first 5 to 10 passives is scrambled, and you can't see it, right? You can see the beginning in any given direction, but everything past 10 points out or 5 points out is scrambled. I think that would be a great way to allow people to still have some functional, like, the early passive points that are really strong to really get you moving and churning through. Because, like, having that initial, like, 5 points even of just spell damage, of just projectile damage, of, attack speed and damage down towards the duelist or towards the marauder, get some life, get some damage. You get the idea. Like having that initial start would help it feel, the whole league feel a lot less bad. Second idea, provide some amount of regret orbs at the beginning. I would say a good like stack of like 20 would not be that bad, because again, this is an SSF event. People can only trade between the 6 people on their league. Who are you hurting by giving them? Who are they hurting? Who are you hurting by giving them a stack of 20 regrets each. That way, if they go up to somewhere and they're like, this is awful, all of this whole path has just been awful. The last like 10 points I've put in are just awful. I was hoping it would get better. It didn't. So then let them respec out. Give them a way to like kind of respec out. And if they waste them, they waste them. They have 20. And then they have to find the rest themselves. But then nobody is completely stuck in a passive tree until level 60, where they finally reached, the late acts or map or early maps, you know what I mean? And then they can actually start maybe getting some regrets, because I'm going to tell you right now, most leagues, I don't have enough, regrets and scours and things, even on a actual normal character. So in a league where the passives are scrambled, I think you should give a decent amount of regrets. So those are the two main thoughts that I had on do those things for the early game, and then everything else kind of solves itself. It is still meant to be a bit of an exploration thing, a bit of a like, okay, do you just make a character and just try to blast through levels and stuff as best you can to explore the passive tree in a given direction, and then, maybe you end up having to make a new character because the current one would just got so completely messed up as you're just climbing through this passive tree and you don't know what anything is. Like, you sometimes you might have to like restart. That's not, totally bad idea, but I think having an availability of regret orbs to allow some of that to be negated, because nobody really wants to roll a whole new character just because the passive tree they accidentally walked into was bad. That right, like that's the thinking. You don't want it to be a thing where, they can just respec freely. If you say that, you're missing the point of the league. It would just defeat the entire like mechanic of this private league or this like event league, right? Like the point is to explore and to see what it would be like if the passive tree just got completely dropped on its head and scrambled. That's the point. So just make it a little easier. And I would say maybe, honestly, for the purposes of things, increase the drop rate of scours and regrets for this league a little bit. Just to allow a flow, right? Then you're not completely stuck for 20 levels having to just hope that something gets better. You can actually farm for regrets. If you are just so desperate for respecking your tree because you spec'd something and then it's just awful, right? It's just bad. Then you have some options, right? You can actually go into, a campaign zone. Say you farm the not Harbor Bridge, that's Act 8. The Blood Aqueduct. Say you're farming Blood Aqueduct, and then you can drop, 5, 10 regrets and fix some of the mistakes you made along the way. There you go. Increase the drop rates, provide some initial like boost in strength. I would say 5 passives in any given direction. All of the 5 passive points in any given direction are static. They are the base tree. And then everything out from that is then randomized. That way people aren't stuck with a bad start, no way to fix it, and they have no hope of dropping enough regrets to correct some of the mistakes that they've made. Those are my thoughts on it. I think it's a cool idea. I think it just needs a little bit of love and touching. Who knows if they're ever going to actually do it again, but this is what I'm thinking about. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? Do you think I have the right idea? Do you have a better idea? I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you're thinking. And once again, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like. I'd really appreciate it. Continue to help the channel grow. Like I said, I am trying to push ever towards 1,000 subscribers right now. Let's just keep pushing right towards it. Let's go as fast as we can towards it. I'd love to hit it before the end of the year. That's just my long-term goal right now. So thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see you for a new video on Monday.